I didn't really grow up in church. When I was younger, I would go to some like church camp type stuff where they had games and stuff like that. But we didn't really go to church on a regular basis. But I did want to go and hang out with other kids when they had stuff going on. And I remember when we went to one of these camps, where they had a concert or something. I uh, I went to it, and I remember thinking, man, I just really don't want to go to hell. And they were inviting people down. I remember I was less than 10. I'm not sure how old I was exactly, but they asked us to go down the front, and I remember thinking that day that I got saved, but I don't even know when it was or how old I was, like I said. And after that, I didn't really go to church much up until about freshman year in high school. Our coach, our basketball coach, got in some trouble. He was accused of basically fraternizing with a student or something like that. And the team wanted to go and basically support him. So we, as a team, went, and I started to go a little bit more. And I really just liked the camaraderie of it, of going to church, but I didn't really learn much at that time. And we'd go on or off just because I had some friends there, and I enjoyed that side of it. But like I said, I didn't know what it meant to have conviction or have a relationship with Jesus. I mean, at that time, even for a while after that, I didn't know much about Jesus and about stories of his miracles. I remember being surprised when uh, I would say some things that I didn't know about, like the story of Lazarus, and things that everyone knew but me, it seemed like. And I eventually fizzled out. I didn't really feel like I fit in that much. And uh, when I got to college, I kind of went through that crazy phase that a lot of kids in college do. And at that time, I didn't feel any remorse or any conviction of the things I was doing. Um, and eventually, I met a wonderful woman. Her name's Keisha, and she was the one that kind of finally got me on the right path. Uh, we eventually got married, and she wanted us to have a church home for us to both go to together. And we ended up hearing from some friends of ours, Nick and Morgan Morris. They talked about Heartland and how great it was, and we thought, if we're going to try this, we'll try out Heartland. And when I started going to Heartland, it was a lot different experience from what I've ever seen as far as going to church. Um, we met some friends that I feel like will be brothers in Christ and close friends for the rest of my life. And I really thought, okay, this is a place we do fit in. Let's go ahead and join. And I still at this time I didn't know a whole lot. I mean, I was starting to learn more because I started going to Sunday school in Dax's class, and um, we eventually, like I said, decided it was time to join. And Dax said you have to either be you got to come in by baptism or a letter from another church. And this surprised me because I didn't even know that people became members of churches. But we did want to join, so I said, okay, well, Dax, I'll be baptized. And we scheduled that. It ended up being Easter of 2010. I came to be baptized, and I was in the room in the back putting my robe on, and they had this card there that they asked us to fill out, and it said, when were you saved? Where were you saved? How old were you? I know those minor details aren't that important, but at that point, I had such an overwhelming feeling that something's not right. I'm fixing to be baptized. I'm not saved. And I immediately went over to Chris Clark. I mean, very nervously went over to Chris Clark and said, can you help me find the words to be saved? I know that I'm not saved. And he seemed a little surprised by it because it was about 2 or 3 minutes before they were going to baptize me. But he did. He helped me pray those words. I knew then that I was saved, and ever since then, my life's been on a completely different path. Now I feel that conviction, and I know that I have that relationship with Jesus. And what was so cool about it, after I went back and sat down, the sermon that Nathan had prepared, and apparently he had prepared months ago, ended up being a sermon that seemed like it was tailored just for me. It was about people who thought they were saved and they've been lost, and it's about rededicating their lives. And it was just so great. That's how I knew that God was there with us.